Hello, my fellow nerds. How you guys doing today? Alright, so I'm currently in the Chicago area. I do not like the Chicago area. I do not like Chicago. Mostly because half the people I meet in Chicago are assholes and the traffic sucks. So, I'm not a big fan of Chicago, but it's where they wanted to send me for a load. Anyway, let's see. We are on book 3 of the House of Comarre series. This one is Bad Blood. I said the title wrong in the last video. Last video was Flesh and Blood. This one is Bad Blood, so my bad. I put the correction in the description. All right. So anyway, I think for this series, rather than try to do any like cohesive order, I just need to talk about the characters individually and what happens to them in each book. All right. So starting with Chrisabel, because obviously she and Mal are the main characters. In the last book, that in Flesh and Blood, when that ended, she was kicked out of her house, and her signum was cut out of her, and Mal had to save her by basically giving her his blood, which is a big no-no in Comarre. So, going into this book, she's kind of pissed at him about that, but she does understand it was to save her life. And he hates himself for what he did. So now, but in the last book, we found out the cure to Mal's curse, which is for, well, unfortunately, they can't really undo the curse because he's under 2 curses. Basically, he's under the curse of, that happens when you drain your sire, you're unquenchable. You have an unquenchable thirst. You can't stop drinking. When you take from the vein. So that's curse number 1. Curse number 2 is every person that Mal kills, their name is written, their name appears on his body, and their voice appears in his head. So he has a whole army of voices in his head, has a whole list of names, because he killed a lot of people in his time. Not quite sure if the ghost thing is part of the curse, because as you found out in book 1, he killed Fee after being basically imprisoned in a old castle. She stumbles upon him and he kills her. That's the first person that he killed after he was released. So don't know if like if she was like a special case, or if that's part of the curse. So we don't really quite know about that. But unfortunately, the only way to end the second curse, the voice curse and the name curse, is for every name that's on his list, he has to help somebody. So, which unfortunately, if the second curse is done, then that means the first curse is in full force, and that's going to be a problem, because really right now it's the voices that are keeping him not sane but contained. So he's not a ravenous, rampaging beast. So, kind of a problem. So you find that out in the last book. And in this book, she wants to go back to the Aurelian to, once again, ask her about her brother, because she feels like she didn't get enough information the first time around. So she goes to Dominic and tries to figure out, if she can use his signamist. The guy who basically tattoos the gold onto Dominic's Comarre. And so Dominic has no problem with that. They go to the signamist, and he is an actual, real signamist. He's not some hack that just saw a few tattoos and decided to do it. No, he's the real deal. Worked on real Comarre and everything. They didn't go into his backstory about how he came to work for Dominic, so I have no idea. He's not under duress. He's willingly doing it, and he's paid for it. So I don't know, like, maybe he just got tired of not being paid enough. Who knows? But unfortunately, there is a problem. The gold that Dominic uses is regular gold. They need basically like divine gold. So the only source that Chrisabel knows about is the Ring of Sorrows, which she had given to Dominic's bodyguard. What's his name? Oh, I forget his name. Dominic's Faye employee got like, you guys know who it is. Oh, Mortalis. That's it. That's his name, Mortalis. So she goes to Mortalis. Unfortunately, Mortalis had given it to a Faye elder for safeguarding, who lives in New Orleans. New Orleans. I like saying it that way. It's New Orleans, but New Orleans. I don't know if I say that right. Anyone who's from New Orleans, please feel free to correct me. But anyway, so that's kind of a problem. So they end up having to go there to try to get it back. So let's see. That's Mal and Christabel's story. For Doc and Fee, really it's just Fee's now alive again, back among the living as she used to be. Let's see. So Doc is also kind of noticing a few things. There's a problem. The spell that ended his curse at the end of the last book was also a separate curse that the witches are taking advantage of. So he's got to try to deal with that, and that has some consequences and some actions. Feed kind of helps him out. I mean, there's not a whole lot that really could be said about Feed without kind of going into Doc. So it's like, I mean, they're really kind of joined at the hip. Then you got Creek, who Creek is kind of separated from kind of everyone for a good portion of the story. Not in terms of, like walled off or anything like that. The thing is, he's kind of dealing with his own thing. Because there is a string of murders happening in the city. Dominic's Comarre are being killed. And unfortunately, the first Comarre that was killed was the mayor's daughter. So he starts working with the mayor, who they call her Lola. I forget what her real name is, but her nickname is Lola. And so basically, Creek has to kind of point out a lot of the strange reports that the mayor's been getting. They're real. And he provides evidence to get her to start to believing, and starts kind of preparing her, because kind of the big thing, because kind of they're kind of on a deadline, because Halloween, which to pagans was Samhain, or I think I'm saying that right, Samhain. I could be wrong, but basically Halloween. That's kind of a bad time, because once Halloween hits, basically, as you all know, the veil is down. So Halloween is basically the deadline for when the veil will be completely down. Everyone's going to be able to see and hear the supernatural, the other naturals. So there's no stopping it. It's not like they're trying to stop it or anything like that, but they got to try to get people to prepare, basically for a little bit of chaos, because apparently it'll be bad if if people like are out partying and then they see a bunch of what they would perceive as monsters, and it'll be riots and whatnot. So they're trying to keep the peace and trying to prevent loss of life. And then so that's Creek's story. Tatiana is trying to become the dominus of her House Tepesh. Unfortunately, that's not going quite well for her, because in order to become the leader of the house, she either needs the backing of the other heads of the house, or the ancient ones, or at least the head ancient one, anyway. Problem with that, though, is the other houses don't really trust her, and for good reason. And when they try calling the ancient one to get his opinion, he's kind of indisposed, thanks to the witches. You'll find out about that in this story. So that's really kind of the main players. You're introduced to some new people. John Havoc, who is the mayor's bodyguard. He's a Varkale. You meet him. I kind of like him. He's good people. Seems like it. Preacher makes a bigger appearance in this book than he did in the last book. In the last book, if you remember, at the end of it, you find out that Preacher has a baby now. He got a human woman pregnant. So that's a thing. And that is kind of a plot point in this book as well. Let's see. Trying to think if there's anybody else. I think that's actually about it. There's really not much to go. There's really not much I can say without spoilers, and you guys know how I feel about spoilers. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and end this here. I really kind of just want to get through this series and then talk about the trilogy I'm reading, because I'm really excited about that one, but I don't want to, bounce back and forth between books. There is one problem. I found out about this yesterday. I'm probably not going to be able to do the 5th book. I don't know. I want to say there's only 5 books in the series. When I looked it up, that's how many I was able to find. But unfortunately, my library does not have them available online for me to get to. So I probably won't be able to read the 5th book, which is sucky. Just sucks. So yeah, I'm hoping I can contact them and be like, hey, can I get this or something? And maybe they can get it for me or something. But if need be, I'll probably wait to do the 5th book and finish the series. But yeah, so it is what it is. I can't really control it. But anyway, that's really about it. Hopefully you guys give this a try. Really good. And I'll do a video at the end of it to kind of go over my thoughts and feelings about this series. But yeah, so you guys have fun, be good. You guys know what to do, and keep reading. Or I don't know a good sign off, but I want to try to come up with a sign off that says, basically just read a book. So yeah.